Hola, en esta lección vamos a hablar sobre el verbo ir. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about the verb ir, to go. Talking about going places, things we're going to do in the near future, and just the various uses of this verb. So, ir. First, we can use this to state where you are going. If you notice, ir más a más destino. Ir plus a plus destination. Okay, you can also use this for ir, a, or acción. What this means is when you use a form of ir, for example, I go, you go, he goes, she goes, we go, they go, whatever form it is you're using, you have to also include the preposition a prior to either listing the destination or the action that you're going to do. So let's look at some examples. First of all, conjugating the verb ir, to go, you would use the various different forms dependent upon the subject that you have. So for example, yo voy, tú vas, él va, nosotros vamos, ellos van, and we'll talk about these in the next slide. And when talking about an action that occurs in the present, for example, something that you are doing right now, like I'm going to the gym, voy al gimnasio, we can use this verb. We can also use it to talk about anything that we do habitually or over and over again. So like, I go to the gym every day. Voy al gimnasio todos los días. So again, we're saying I go or I am going, depending on the context here. So voy al gimnasio ahora, you're telling what you are doing right now. I am going to the gym en este momento. Whereas voy al gimnasio todos los días is just saying, in general, I go to the gym every day. Notice that we still have the use of this preposition a. What happens is when a is combined with the article el for el gimnasio, it becomes the word al. We call this a contraction in Spanish. So we only have a couple of different contractions in Spanish, but this is one of them. So it's just sort of aspirated into one word. So instead of voy a el gimnasio, we say voy al gimnasio. And what that means is a el, to the. Vas con frecuencia. Do you go frequently? So again, using that verb to talk about something that happens habitually or recurrently. Also, talking about actions in the near future. So when we're talking about or using a phrase to indicate the future. For example, Maria va a una fiesta esta noche. Okay, she's going to a party tonight. So it's something that she's doing soon in the near future. We'll also use this verb when we're talking about something that we're going to do. For example, tomorrow I am going to study for my exam. Mañana voy a estudiar para mi examen. So we'll talk about that in a little more detail in a future chapter. Let's look at the verb conjugations. As with all verbs, you have to conjugate this verb in its various different forms. So again, these are the present tense conjugations. So for each of these conjugations, we are saying either I go or I'm going, you go, you are going, he, she goes or is going, we go or we are going, or they go, they are going. For example, voy a la clase todos los días. I go to class every day. ¿Vas al teatro con frecuencia? Do you go to the theater frequently? Ella va a la universidad. She goes to the university. So all of these are examples of using this verb to indicate something that's done habitually or something that is recurrent. Vamos al restaurante. We are going to the restaurant. This is indicating something that's an action that is in progress. Now, if we were to say vamos al restaurante todos los días, then we're indicating that it's habitual. But in this case, we can assume that used alone is just saying that's what we're doing right now. We are going to the restaurant. Vas al café? Are you going to the cafe? Again, with no indication of it being something that's done habitually or frequently, we can assume that it's happening or in progress. We could say the same thing for the previous example, ella va a la universidad. We could assume that it means she is going to college or the university. So depending on context, that could have different meanings. The assumption here is that it means she goes to university, but again, it would depend on context. So it could also mean she is going to the university, meaning right now, or she is going to the university this fall sometime in the near future. So that sentence could indicate any of those things depending on the context. Ellas van al gimnasio. So again, we're assuming that that means they are going to the gym right now. That's an action in progress. If we were to say, ellas van al gimnasio todos los martes y jueves, then we know it's habitual and we're just saying that they do that during those times. So notice these conjugations are your present tense forms. So all would mean go or going. So let's look at some examples. What I want you to do is pause the video after I go through the instructions and then practice these examples. And then when you unpause the video, you can check your work. So, para la primera actividad, we are going to take the sentence and use a form of ir, remembering to use the a and the article here. So I've bolded for the example what you're going to add and then create a complete sentence of that. So if you're giving the subject ustedes, you all, and you're giving the location of where we're going, clase de español, and then when you're going to do that, to make a complete sentence, you're going to say, ustedes van a la clase de español los lunes y miércoles. I could even have added in there todos los lunes y miércoles if I wanted to. Pero en este caso, so in this sentence, we have added van a la because we're saying they are going to the. So we want to add those three elements to each of these sentences. We want a form of the verb of ir, que corresponde con el sujeto, whatever corresponds with the subject. Then we have to add that preposition a, and then the article that goes with each of these nouns here. So we know this would be la biblioteca. In this case, it would be el cine, es masculino, el gimnasio. In this case, we would not add the article because we are using this pronoun su. Okay, so instead, adjective su, because we're saying his or her, in this case, ella. So her office, su oficina. So we would not add that article, el or la, in that one. And then cafeteria, of course, is femenina, so we would add the la. Okay. In la segunda actividad, for the second activity, we're writing a complete sentence to say where the person is probably going. So we say, mañana hay un examen, voy a la biblioteca. I'm going to the library. So depending on who is being described in the sentence is who you will likely use as the subject. So go ahead and pause the video, complete these examples, and then when you unpause, check your work. Okay, estas son las respuestas. So you can see for this one we added voy a la because we're saying I go to the library every day. Nosotros vamos al cine con frecuencia. We are going to the theater, the movie theater, frequently. To the al, as we talked about, a and el together become al. Él va al gimnasio por la mañana. He is going or goes to the gym in the morning. Okay, va al, a él. Ella va a su oficina todas las tardes. So again, she's going to her office. So we don't use the el or la because of we're using that adjective su. And it's a possessive adjective. Yo voy a la cafetería a veces. I'm going to the cafeteria sometimes. Let's look at the bottom examples. Tengo hambre. I'm hungry. So where am I going to go? Voy al restaurante because it's el restaurante. We say al. Voy al restaurante. I'm going to the restaurant. Mis amigos van al cine esta tarde. My friends go to the movie theater this evening. They are going, so van al. They are going to the theater, van al. Hay una fiesta para los estudiantes. And then I'm asking, ¿vamos a la fiesta? Are we going to the party? Should we go? Shall we go? We might translate that as. Okay, vamos a la fiesta. And finally, la profesora tiene su hora de oficina ahora. So I'm saying yo voy a la oficina. If you said voy a su oficina, then you are also correct. And that is a great use of that possessive adjective that we mentioned up there. And a good catch on your part. So you could have said la or su for that one. Okay. We're going to now look at a sample conversation and identify the uses. En esta conversación entre Camila y Vicente, okay, there's a little typo here in this conversation, so as not to cause confusion, notice that she addresses him as Vicente, but in the conversation list it it says his name is Javier. So we're going to assume that this is Vicente that is speaking with Camila, because that's what she calls him. So let's listen to the conversation. Hola Vicente, ¿a dónde vas tan rápido? Voy a la clase de álgebra. Hoy hay una prueba y voy tarde. Oye, ¿vas a la fiesta de Alicia el viernes? No, los viernes voy a un club. ¿Todos los viernes vas al club a bailar? ¿Qué club es? Pues el club de matemáticas. Okay, so looking at the conversation, where is it that Vicente is going in such a hurry? If you said he's going to la clase de álgebra or to his algebra class, you are correct. Okay, why is he going so quickly and in such a rush to get to algebra class? ¿Por qué va a la clase de álgebra tan rápido? ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Por qué va tan rápido a su clase? Okay, if you said, porque hay una prueba y va tarde, you're correct, because there's a quiz today and he's going to be late. So va tarde, he's running late, y hay una prueba. There's a quiz. And what does she want to know if he's going to be doing on Friday? She's asking him if he would like to go to the party, Alicia's party, right? La fiesta de Alicia. Okay. Is he going? ¿Va él a la fiesta de Alicia? ¿Va Vicente a la fiesta de Alicia? If you said no, you're correct. No. El viernes no va a la fiesta porque va a un club. What does he do los viernes? ¿Qué hace los viernes? Va a un club. Okay, he goes to a club los viernes. ¿Qué club? ¿Qué club es? Que va los viernes. What club does he go to? Camila wants to know if he goes to un club de bailar, right? But he doesn't go to un club de bailar, correcto? He goes to el club de matemáticas. If you said math club, then you are correct. So if we notice here in these examples, she's wanting to know where he's going right now. ¿A dónde vas tan rápido? Where's he in the progress of going? And he tells her, voy a clase. He's going to class. That's what he's in the progress of doing. And then she asks, ¿vas a la fiesta de Alicia el viernes? Now she's asking if he's going to Alicia's party. Not right now, but in the near future, el viernes. So this is asking about something that he might be going to or going to be doing in the near future. And then he says, no, los viernes voy a un club. So now he has told her where he goes habitually. He's talking about a habitual action, saying he goes to a club on Fridays. So he does that frequently, va a un club. And then she asks, do you go every Friday to a club to dance? So again, asking about if this is habitual that he goes to, and of course she asks if it's a dance club, and he says no because it's a club de matemáticas. So we have some examples there of both where he's going right now in the present moment, and asking about a near future event, and then finally using this in the context of something that someone is or goes to do on a habitual, regular basis. If you have any further questions about el verbo ir, please feel free to email me. We will talk about this again and practice this in class. Remember to do the actividades from the slideshow around this verb, and also your actividades on your online platform. Que tenga un buen día.